what is the most important aspect in today's market to look out for? I know it's a very general question, but I am a wholesaler starting your program to invest in vacant commercial buildings, looking for guidance and what not to do, like you always suggest in your videos.
Okay, what not to do. So don't start looking at general numbers and statistics going nowhere. Do not start listening to CNBC and CNN and all this. None of this general information will help you do specific investing. It will only depress you, scare you, and confuse you. So I'm going to give you this in a structure of just a few questions. And the questions, please write them down. Start with asking yourself, where and when? It's the first one. Next, what and how? I'll explain them some more in details, but write them down. So where and when, and then what and how, and then who and why, and then how much and for how long. So obviously, the most important thing to decide on is location and timing. This is the where and when. What location? Where am I gonna do this? This strategy of finding joint venture standalone buildings or finding apartment buildings or storage facility, where? And then when? Do I want to do it now? Do I want to do it later? Do I want to wait till the interest stops increasing or whatever? I mean, interest supposedly stopped increasing. So timing is so important. Some locations are what I call evergreen. I told you, Old San Juan, Puerto Rico, for me is evergreen. I've been there 20 years now. Okay, actually in a few months will be 20 years. And why? Because when I realized this is where I want to do business, Old San Juan, Puerto Rico, I realized that it has the exclusive power of being the oldest historic zone under the US flag. It has depth of water for the piers to actually accommodate the deepest waters for cruises. Actually, north of Puerto Rico is the deepest water in the world, in any ocean. It's unbelievable. So maybe Newport Beach, California, maybe Key West, Florida, maybe Manhattan, New York. These are evergreen locations. That's why they're more expensive, more valuable, etc. So where is important. Then when is the key, because even Old San Juan had periods where it pulled down and there was slower business. Now, residential with a view is another one of what I call evergreen type of thing. So you get a residential property in La Jolla, California, you get one in Scottsdale, you know. So you choose the location, residential with a view or commercial with traffic. And you know, the market is cyclical. So it's gonna go through these ups and downs, but then in these good locations, if you know where, the when will become obvious for you. Number two, what and how. What strategy are you gonna use? Are you gonna do lease option to buy? Are you gonna buy it all cash? Are you gonna buy and rehab and sell, buy, rehab, refinance? What are you gonna do? So what strategy, and I say what and how to structure the deals. Because you want a structure that gives you quite a few things. Gives you the safety, the cash flow, the liquidity, the cash reserves, the diversification, and a bunch of backup plans in case something goes wrong. And when I talk about this, this is how we set up the real estate funds. How is always default to a real estate fund. If I could do my life over again, I would have set up my real estate funds way earlier than I did. I set them up in 2009. I missed out on 15 years of unbelievable, like it's been 15 years, but I could have set it up a lot earlier than that. So how? If you know the strategy, get the right structure, which is a real estate fund, because it groups the people together. You can grow a lot faster and you can turn it on and off. It's not like you have an ongoing obligation. If you don't have a deal, you don't have to raise money. If you have a deal, you raise the money for it, etc. Who and why? Now, you want to increase your luck factor, network the right way, get the right people with you. I just explained earlier, as you know, with the question before that came in from Crystal about the New Orleans development. Who is the contractor? Who is the architect? Who's going to be the subcontractors, you know? And so you got the right people. And why? Why am I choosing this contractor versus this one? Because this one has experience in that local area. This one has the crew. This one is committed. This one is interested in my own well-being. They have a good style of communicating with me. Okay, so who and why? Everyone is trying to figure out their talent and develop it. Okay, into skills that are marketable, useful, and profitable. Okay, so I'll repeat. God gave you some talents. If you discover them and you can develop them into marketable, useful, and profitable skills, you can do amazing. Or start a real estate fund and hire people that already have the skills. How about that for a shortcut? Because it may take you 10 years to develop the skills that somebody else has been doing for 20 years. You can afford that person, but you can if you have a real estate fund. You see, it's gonna come to you. So with a real estate fund, then you also say, so it's who is gonna be me, and I'm gonna get some accredited investors. I'm gonna get this person. I'm gonna attract them by setting up the fund and attract the right investors, get the right deals, so I can actually hire that talent with skilled people and have a shortcut that I can leverage, scale for what I call the barbecue. Bigger, better, quicker deals. Bigger, better, quicker deals. Time element is very important. It's your power. Okay, so we talked about where and when, what and how, who and why, and then at the end, how much and how long. How big do you want to get? What are you comfortable with? So people ask me, wow, why don't you just grow your fund to go to $1 billion? I like to sleep at night. I like to take some time off. I like to teach. I like to spend time doing fun things. It doesn't make any difference for me if I got an extra $1 million or not. Well, thank God, I worked very hard for this, but I'm telling you, some people want to grow like crazy. It's their obsession. How much do you want to grow? Start small, think big. You can start big. You can structure the fund to be able to grow big, but you start, even with the fund, you start small. You structure the things, the pieces come together. 2009, when I started the fund, we were just looking yesterday at these numbers because there's a company that want to work with us. And we're calculating the numbers with the CPA. Ashley was on the call. We were looking at 2009. Oh my gosh, we were just like paying out so little. And then 2010, and then 2000, and then you could see the fund growing, bro. Now we'll do millions. We just payouts to the investors in the millions of dollars. But we grew there. You grow into who you become. You grow and contribute. If you grow without contributing, then why are you growing? Okay. All right. So how much you want to grow, how much what's the critical mass that makes sense for you and your team? And then how long do you want to play that game? Do you have an exit? What's your exit? Your exit may be, eventually I'm just going to refund all the investors after paying them all these great numbers. Everybody's going to be happy. I'm going to pay off a couple buildings. I'm going to put them in a living trust, or I have a living trust, pass them on to my kids. And you have a very clear direction of how it's going to be. Or maybe the game is going to be, you're going to get your kids involved in the game, or your family members, you know. I'm always trying to get more people involved with me and create a bigger pie. Okay, so to recap, the most important aspects of today's markets and an evergreen way to do business is where and when, what and how, who and why, how much and for how long. And if you rewind all this, you will see exactly how it falls into place.